So now that you understand why this important skill can be so life-changing, let's get into what the ego is and how it shows up in our lives. The ego is the main driver in most people's lives. It's responsible for up to 95% of your daily actions. The decisions you make, the thoughts you think, the actions you take. It created all of your routines and habits, and ultimately, it's what's driving you to get the results that you're currently getting or not getting in your life right now. As I mentioned in the previous lesson, the ego's role is to create an identity for you so that you can help navigate through tough life situations and supposedly keep you safe. Overall, this has been hugely helpful. It's your survival brain. It's gotten you to where you are today, but it's also why you never really feel fully satisfied or fulfilled. It's why no matter how much success you achieve, it never feels like enough. It's there to keep you safe, not happy. So how does the ego work? What are these identities it creates? Think about it like this. You're at a restaurant, and as you're walking through the dining area, you knock over a tray of drinks. When the record scratches and all eyes turn to you, what do? Do you smile and take a big bow while blowing kisses to your audience? Do you freeze up and you make yourself feel really small and keep assuring everyone how sorry you are and that it was an accident? Or you say, who the hell would put a tray hanging off the edge of the table in the middle of a restaurant? That's ridiculous. That's irresponsible. Or do you immediately drop down and you start cleaning it up, and when the wait staff arrives to help, you say, no, I got this. This was my mess. I'll clean it up. See, when we find ourselves in situations that cause the nervous system to be triggered, we switch from the rational thinking to our pre-programmed default mode, a fight or flight response, or what some people like to call fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. However you want to label it, humans default to a way of being that help us in that moment to get out of that moment as quickly and safely as possible. What you choose in that moment is your ego's value proposition. It's a superhero action that you bring to the table that quells others so that you can get out of that situation without people thinking negatively of you. And by proxy, you get to continue to be a member of the tribe, and ultimately, you get to be loved. So how did this happen? How did you or your ego create this identity? When you were young, like 3 to 5 years old, something happened. You wrote all over the wall with markers, or you accidentally broke something, or maybe it was a misunderstanding and the dog actually did it, but you were the one that was blamed. Or, someone made some small insignificant comment that 4-year-old you made you pause and think something's wrong. In that moment, you made a choice. You did something that helped you get out of that situation. Your ego created this superhero suit, and you've been wearing it ever since. But you're not only using it to just get out of bad situations, it's become synonymous with your value or your self-worth. It's ultimately become your identity. You started to believe that it is who you are, but in reality, it's only the character that you've been playing. It's like the Flash. He's a guy who runs really fast. It comes in handy quite a bit, but it's also probably caused him some problems, like running through objects and causing collateral damage, things like that. But it's what he's known for. People love him for it. It's become his identity. He's probably also good at a lot of other things, but it's the one thing that he knows that when he does it, he's going to win over the crowd. Much like the Flash, you've used your superhero identity a lot throughout your life. It's a trait that's helped you become successful. In fact, the job you're doing right now is probably a result of your identity. However, this same identity that's been so helpful has also been the source of a lot of suffering and lack. We become trapped by it. We think it's how we get love, and without it, we'd be lost. Think about pro athletes that have a career-ending injury, or the actor or actress whose fading youth and beauty is leading to more and more film studio rejections. In the wake of these events, they feel utterly lost, completely hopeless. Or even if it's something that to an outsider just seems trivial, like they just had a bad game, it could absolutely be devastating to the one living it because they think it's who they are. This is precisely what's keeping you from feeling fulfillment, despite how much you're able to accomplish. Once we become aware of our ego's value proposition, we can learn to separate ourselves, our true selves, from it. By now, you should have a good understanding of the framework for how the ego shows up and how identities are created. With that, I have one more question for you. Are you ready to meet your ego? Join me in the next lesson where we dive even deeper to investigate and find who's been keeping you stuck this whole time.